Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing my July book haul. This month I've got quite a lot of books, but I think it's okay to put them in one book haul, so I feel like I've been more restrained. As always, they're all cheap and books that I've been looking at. So anyway, let's tell you about them. Firstly, I'm going to show you the 3 books that I got for free this month. 2 are from publishers and 1 is a book that I got from my Willoughby Book Club. So the first book that I got sent from Walker Books, which I requested when I went to the event with them, is Patrick Ness's The Rest of Us Just Live Here. I heard more about this at the event and I just really wanted to give it a go. This story is about a group of teenagers. It's set in a world where, you know, vampires, zombies, all these types of things and superheroes exist, but we are following the group of kids that aren't superheroes. So I'm really excited to see this sort of twist on the story, and I've heard really good things so far from people that have read it. Next is a book that I requested from Bookbridger, and that is a book that I've also seen on various people's channels, but the main place that really piqued my interest was on Books and More's channel. You should check her out. Her reviews are really well thought out and I really enjoy them, and she reviewed Way Down Dark by JP Smythe recently, and it just really made me want to read it. Let me read you the back because it explains it way better than I can. There's one truth on Australia: you fight or you die, usually both. Imagine a nightmare from which there is no escape. 17-year-old Chan's ancestors left a dying earth hundreds of years ago in search of a new home. They never found one. This is a hell where no one can hide. The only life that Chan's ever known is one of violence, of fighting, of trying to survive. This is a ship of death, of murders and cults and gangs. But there might be a way to escape. In order to find it, Chan must head way down into the darkness, a place of buried secrets, long forgotten lies, and the abandoned bodies of the dead. This is Australia. It just sounds really good, and from what Books and More said on her channel, it's definitely a really good read. So thank you so much for the publisher via Bookbridger for sending me this one. And next is the book that I got from my Willoughby Book Club this month, and that is Into the Trees by Robert Williams. I didn't know anything about this, and it sounds brilliant. Basically, from what I can gather, this is about a family with 2 children that move into a house in the woods. It's about a man that likes to walk in the solitary, in the woods, solitary. He likes a bit of time to himself, and it's about some masked men that come to invade this house. And it's about the 3 different lives of these 3 different people colliding, and yeah, I'm really intrigued and excited to read this one. Next is a book that I saw on Unmanaged Mischief's channel during her Japanese June reviews, and that is In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. And this is quite a short book, but the way she described it it just sounds brilliant. It sounds very dark, very gruesome, very interesting. I think it's about a bit like sort of the red light district and maybe some murder. Yeah, I'm intrigued to read this one. I haven't read many Japanese fiction, and I haven't read much like this, but I read I think it's called People Who Eat Darkness, which is the real life account of the disappearance of Lucy Blackman years ago in Japan and her death, and it sort of piqued my interest in this sort of dark, seedier side of Japan, and yeah, I'm interested in giving this one a go. Next is another book that I heard on someone else's channel. All of these are probably things I've heard on people's channels, but this one I heard on Jenny King's channel. She did an author overview of Lauren Willig's book, and they just sound right up my street. And this one is The Secret History of the Pink Carnation by Lauren Willig. This, from what I can gather from Jenny, Lauren Willig's books span 2 different times. So you have the modern time, and then you flip back and forth between that and sort of a period of time. And this, I think, is about sort of a lady spy maybe. And yeah, it just sounded really good. check out her channel and check out this author overview Lauren Willig on her channel. That particular video is really great and it definitely made me want to give them a go. So I bought the first one in the series. I think there's about 15 odd in the series, and I thought I'll buy the first one and see how I get on. So thank you, Jenny, for that. Next is a book that I saw on Stephanie from Time to Read's channel a long time ago, and it was in my charity shop and it was ridiculously cheap, and so I picked it up, and that is My Brilliant Friend by Eleanor Ferrante. She loved this. All I really know about this book is that it's set in the 1950s, it's set in Naples, and it's about two best friends growing up together, and that's all I know. Stephanie said it was great and I trust her judgment, so I'm going to give this one a go. A book that I've seen on lots of people's channels over the past few months, and people have said how great it is, and it's one of those sort of seems to be an iconic book that everyone needs to have read, and that is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. And I saw this again in my charity shop and I thought, right, I've heard of that, it sounds good, it's on my wish list, so I will pick it up. As you may or may not know, I am going through a massive contemporary kick at the moment, and I'm reading lots and lots of new adult and YA contemporary books, and so I have a big selection of those that I've picked up. The first is two books which are Tan Lines and Beach Blondes, which is a compilation of a few books, I believe, which were very, very cheap and are on the beach in the summer and sound brilliant. Next is a book called Wait For You by Jay Lynn, which I believe is Jennifer Jennifer L. Armentrout's books, sort of her new adult books. Everyone who's read these books say how good they are, and the back of this one says, this is a book you've been waiting to read since you put down One Day and 50 Shades of Grey. I haven't read One Day yet, but I've read 50 Shades of Grey and I really enjoyed it, so I'm really excited to read this. Next is Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. This just sounds funny. It's about a girl that moves next door, I believe, to a man who has a lot of sex against his headboard, and about their sort of relationship, perhaps a bit of sexual tension there, and it just sounds fun, new adult, fun book. Next is a book by Cora Carmack called Losing It. It was recommended to me if I was looking for good new adult books, and so I picked it up when I could. I think this is about a girl who wants to lose her virginity. It doesn't quite happen maybe, but it turns out that the person she was trying to was her new professor or something. It just sounds very interesting and you know, a good, fast, new adult read. Next is a book I've had on my wish list for ages, and I saw it come up cheap, so I picked it up, and that is My Fair Godmother by Janet Rallison. I think this is about a girl. She breaks up with her boyfriend, and rather than getting a fairy godmother like in most romantic fairy tales, she ends up with a fair godmother, so things go a little bit awry and hilarity ensues. I haven't read, I don't think, any of Meg Cabot's books, so I picked up Queen of Babel because it looked pretty and it sounded fun and light-hearted. It's the story of a girl. It turns out that her boyfriend's been cheating on her during their separation, and so she's on the streets with nowhere to live and no money, and her friend steps in and invites her out to France to help her. I think she's planning and catering for weddings, and I think it just sounds like a romantic story from there. Anything set in France always sounds romantic to me. Next is a book I saw on Oshalay's channel, She Reads, and it just sounded great. She talked about it in one of her book hauls, and that is Peaches by Jodie Lynn Anderson. It's about three bored girls, three gorgeous guys, and a summer picking peaches apparently, and that just sounds brilliant. The next book I picked up is called Notes from the Teenage Underground by Simone Howell, and this I saw on Hannah Books and Beauty's channel, and it sounded really interesting. It's about three girls, I think, and every summer they pick a theme to sort of spend their summers around, and this year's theme is the word underground, and so one of them makes an underground film. One of them looks at pursuing boys without barcodes, and one of them, they're not sure what she has planned, and there's always one that goes a bit over the top, and it sounds like it's going to be a really good, interesting story. Next up is Secret Society Girl, an Ivy League novel by Diana Peterfriend. This just sounds fun. It's about a secret society and no doubt like a fun contemporary read. Next is the sort of sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian books that I picked up. The first is The Atlantis Gene by A.G. Riddle. I heard about this on Amber's channel. I think it's Amber Reads. But this sounds really good. It's part of a longer series if I like it. Let me read you the back because it probably explains better than me. The battle to save humanity has begun. Off the coast of Antarctica, a research vessel discovers a mysterious structure buried deep within an iceberg. Entombed for thousands of years, it can't possibly be man-made. But a secretive and ruthless cabal think they know what it is and what it means. The Imari have spent millennia preparing for the return of humanity's ancient enemy. Faced with an extinction-level threat, they believe mankind's only chance of survival will mean sacrificing 99.9% of the planet's population. It's a price the Imari are prepared to pay. Geneticist Kate Warner and intelligence agent David Vale may have a chance to avert the looming catastrophe, but only if they can decode the secrets of the Atlantis gene and unlock the truth about humanity's origins. Just sounds really good. Next up is a book that I've meaning to pick up for ages, and I finally saw it in the charity shop, and that is Leviathan Wakes by James A. Corey. I don't know much about it, but I have heard great things. Next is a fantasy first book in a series that I heard about from Rachel from Kalanadi's channel, and she recommended it, and that is Paladin of Souls by Lois McMaster Bujold. She loves Lois McMaster Bujold, and so I wanted to give this one a go. And then the final two books are books. One book is one that I've seen around BookTube a lot, and that is Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. Everyone seems to really love this story. It's about a group of sort of female assassins, and each book in the series follows one of the female assassins, but it's set in I think it's set in sort of medieval times maybe, so this sounds really exciting, and I saw it so I picked it up. And then the final one was recommended to me by a subscriber, so if it was you, thank you very much, and that is Valor's Choice by Tanya Huff. They said to me if I liked Fortune's Pawn that this may be one for me, and I wanted to give it a go. I picked it up and I'm excited to get going with it. So that is all the books that I've picked up this month. There is a lot of them, but less than last month, so I'm slowing down a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you enjoyed them and which ones you liked the best. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.